get ready. Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts is a roller coaster unlike anything else in the world. This ride and surrounding land produces an onslaught of varied experiences that provide fully cohesive and immersive themed entertainment. Escape from Gringotts and Diagon Alley as a whole are the pinnacle for theming manufactured for Universal Parks. It's a truly unique attraction that seamlessly blends various ride types. Many of these are core tenets of some of our favourite theme park rides, such as dark rides and launched and spinning coasters. At the time, the further development of the Wizarding World made sense, but such a unique and technologically driven ride was definitely a big gamble. Using multiple manufacturers on one ride proved problematic. But did the gamble pay off? Well, in this video we're going to tell you why it did, because Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts is a good ride. Get ready. The queue. Each facet of this ride helps further embellish riders into the Wizarding World story. This is perfectly exemplified by the queue line, which, as you would expect, is detailed and brilliantly designed. Riders enter a recreation of Gringotts Wizarding Bank, as depicted in both the films and the books. Animatronic goblin bank tellers line the stretch of the bank, performing teller duties behind their desk. Each teller is a custom created animatronic made by Universal Creative. Although they are quite limited in movement, it's a nice feature to have several tellers to look at, while the head of the bank, Bogrod, has quite a substantial audio loop which helps provide some context to the ride. We, as guests, are supposed to be opening a bank account, and once we've made it to Bogrod, we are cleared to enter into the bank office before heading to the vaults. The story of the ride is tactically told through slight moments and references that many Harry Potter fans will appreciate, and these are utilised in clever ways which provide a unique aspect to the story. Instead of having a specific pre-ride spiel, the surroundings found in the queue detail the story. For example, several newspapers can be found on desks in the back office. These offer headlines, detailing aspects of the context that the ride takes place in, cleverly using dimly lit screens which are hidden or embedded within a newspaper. Further to this, projection lighting is used behind office doors which gives clues as to what is actually happening. Bellatrix and some other characters can be seen and heard discussing their plans to break into the vaults. Enchanted portraits also feature prominently in the queue, similar to what's used in the queue for Forbidden Journey over in Islands of Adventure. These look like classical, traditional paintings, but the characters in them actually move. This is created using something similar to that of an Instagram filter, but placed over the image, the filter makes it look like a classical piece of art, and not the HD LCD screen that it actually is. This clever use of storytelling in this way helps guests piece together what might actually be happening in Gringotts during their visit. Riders then walk through Bill Weasley's office, where Blordak and Bill are cleverly projected using a musion effect. This is like a modern day Pepper's ghost illusion, as seen in the ballroom scene in Haunted Mansion for example. The video is projected from above the room and cast onto a large mirror embedded in the floor. This is then bounced back off a thin film placed in front of the stage, giving its holographic effect, which provides depth to the pre-show scene. This gives a more realistic effect, and gives the holographic type projections a sense of place within the actual physical set. Guests then move from Weasley's office towards the lobby to take an elevator down to the vaults. Again, this is a clever utilisation of effects and technology to help further immerse guests into their surroundings. The elevator itself is actually static, but uses LCD screens to give an impression of movement above the heads of the riders. Further below, strip lights are used to give a visual illusion of a descending motion, while the floor of the elevator slightly moves up and down in a convincing manner that resembles the sensations of a moving elevator. All of these intricate effects and simulations help create the world around you. They also provide a function of breaking up the line into more digestible pieces and keeps longer wait times from getting boring. The implications of some of these scenes also progress the story, giving riders small hints as to what's to come from the ride. This is without doubt one of the best queue lines you will ever experience in the world, and is one of the amazing features of the overall ride. The unique ride design. Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts is a mishmash of ride types that forms one overall experience. Many varying elements are included in this one ride, including launch coaster, dark ride, 3D and 4D effects, and spinning elements. Considering this, it's no surprise that many parts of the ride were actually created by separate manufacturers. In a collaborative effort, Universal contracted Intamin to create the coaster track and supports, Vekoma created the moving track portions, Premier Rides manufactured the ride trains, and Kuka developed a robotic arm which removes a portion of the screen during the ride's climax. Similar to what we saw in our discussion of Ratatouille, each car is actually equipped with receivers which are connected via Wi-Fi. These signals tell the ride where the train is on the track, and this helps determine when the cars should rotate and play audio during certain segments of the ride. The track used also gives unique elements to this ride not seen in many traditional roller coasters. Firstly, the use of the Vekoma tilt track makes for the first interesting moment for riders. The trains roll onto a suspended piece of track secured by a latch. This then tilts forwards while holding the cars onto the track. The tilting track is then locked into place to another piece of track below. After Bellatrix releases her spell, the brakes are then released and riders are sent down a 30-foot drop. To add to this, there are further points in the ride where a moving track is also utilised. The trains are again locked into place in front of large screens. The cars of the train are then spun on the track so that they are head on with the screen. In one scene, a hydraulic piston tilts a section of track up and down both on the left and right of the train. This is then synced up to the projections to give a realistic feel to what you are witnessing. Another moving track element is used further in the ride, although this time during a curved section. The track is latched only at the apex of the curve. When this is moved, the track tilts downwards, simulating a falling sensation as the track gives way below us on screen. As expected with many 3D dark rides, Escape from Gringotts uses a technique called squinching for its screen portions of the ride. We've previously mentioned this in our Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man episode in this series. Essentially, squinching is a technique whereby a video projection is stretched in certain ways as to combat distortion when being viewed from a moving vehicle. The camera angle moves in tandem with the physical movement of the train, so that we aren't seeing an angled view of a flat surface. This helps provide depth to the scenes, which in turn works with the 3D projection to give a viewpoint that seems like we can step into what is being projected on the screen in front of us. And although there is a more modern trend in the enthusiast world of being critical against screen-based attractions, which is sometimes justified, Escape from Gringotts includes some huge immersive sets and physical details. These tactically blend the screen portions between different scenes. In many ways, this acts similarly to Spider-Man, but includes more of a coaster than a standard 4D dark ride. Which brings us to the fun coaster elements and launches that feature throughout the ride. Although not the most thrilling ride found in the park, this hybrid attraction still offers some intense moments. The spinning of the cars throughout also makes the ride feel more uncertain, as you're never quite sure of your surroundings and where you will lead to next. As guests enter the final scene, they are greeted by an almost 360-degree screen which envelops the ride. Using some 4D effects, heat can be felt coming from overhead rafters to symbolise the presence of a giant dragon. As always, the additional sensations felt during these parts of 4D attractions are used effectively and helps us suspend our belief that this is actually happening. The Kuko robotic arm mentioned previously lifts and removes a portion of the screen, clearing a path. Smoke effects engulf the room as the train launches into the dark. Trains reach an estimated top speed of 30 miles per hour as the cars spin through a helix turn, which brings riders back to the station. Final thoughts. What is worth noting is that Escape from Gringotts isn't something just to be observed as a theme park ride. It's a form of themed entertainment and an all-round extensive experience. If you've seen any of our other videos in this series, then you will know that this concept isn't new. We tactically pick rides and attractions that traditionally offer more than a standard big thrill. And it's this kind of experience that helps differentiate amusement parks from theme parks, and it's the reason why so many like us flock to big name resorts like Universal Orlando and Walt Disney World. We want to be taken away from the mundane and experience something out of this world. Escape from Gringotts puts us in the driver's seat of a wizarding adventure, and it almost feels quite real. This is thoroughly helped through the amazing Diagon Alley and extensive queue line. It's quite difficult to observe this ride out of its specific context. The elaborate theming found throughout Diagon Alley and its shops and food outlets all aid in our transition from the rest of the park to the wizarding world. And this is how visitors are established before entering the land's feature attraction. While many theme parks still feel the need to utilise screens in some of their newer attractions, this one in particular feels quite fresh. It gives us a chance to embrace this other amazing world and at least somewhat forget parts of the franchise's more problematic elements. The ride is enjoyable and has enough unique elements to provide a ride that feels different from its contemporaries. You don't need to be a Harry Potter fan to enjoy the attention to detail and ride design either. It's not too intense that people should fear it, while interesting coaster elements are a joy for many thrill seekers. Above all else, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts is just a good ride. If you're more of a traditional Universal Studios fan, then check out our Attraction Graveyard video. We take a look at some of the historical rides that are no longer with us, including the former attraction that occupied this part of the park, Jaws. Thanks for checking this installment of What Makes This Ride So Good. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like and press subscribe. If you have a suggestion for our next entry in the series, leave a comment down below. Now you're ready.